Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Sushmita Poddar and I am the HR and Operations Manager at VIAS India. Today we are presenting on the topic Accelerate and Enhance Your Team's Productivity through Abaqus Scripting, which will be presented by Dr. Shrikant Srigiriraju and Shubhadeep Maiti. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel. I'll bring them up after the presentation as we will have time for question and answer session at the end. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to our first presenter today, Dr. Shrikant Srigiriraju, who will give us a brief overview about our company. Dr. Shrikant Srigiriraju is the Director of Software Technical Services at VIAS with over 10 years of Abaqus experience in customer support and consultancy for a range of diverse industries. Shrikant graduated with doctorate in solid mechanics from Brown University, USA. Prior to that, he did his bachelor's in mechanical engineering from IIT Madras. He has expertise in various structural and thermal procedures of Abaqus and its features with specific focus on connectors, Abaqus, Daimola, co-simulation between different Abaqus products, discrete element methods, contact, and constraints. Yes, Shrikant, you may take over now.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Welcome everyone. This is VIAS India's first webinar. Good morning. My name is Shrikant, as Sushmita has kindly introduced me. I will present the brief introduction of our company, and then Subhadeep will take over and present the actual webinar. Okay, I'm just trying to scroll the screen here. Okay, got it. Sorry. So today's agenda would be a brief company overview given by me, and then there's a motivation for this webinar, Python in Abaqus, basics of Python, building plugins, RSG Builder, Abaqus, PDE, and tips and tricks that would be very helpful for your daily workflows. With that, let me just go ahead and present a brief overview of our company. Our company is Virtual Integrated Analytics Solutions. In short, it's called VIAS. We are actually based in Houston, in Texas, in USA, with offices all over the US in Chicago, Cincinnati, San Francisco, and Detroit. We have a very strong team with multiple industry experience, like oil and gas, machinery and equipment, petrochemical and process, nuclear, aerospace, medical devices, manufacturing, and automotive. Currently, we actually opened an office in India, in Hyderabad, and also we have a team in Kolkata also. And we are in a hiring process and ramping up staff in Pune and Delhi too. So with that, we'll be very available locally for your simulation needs. So you are free to contact us for any of your requirements. We have a very strong team of PhD and masters in various engineering fields like solid mechanics, fluid mechanics, materials and corrosion, numerical analysis, optimization, reliability, data analytics. We are actually a platinum VAR partner of Dassault Systems Simulia. So we handle software like Abaqus, iSight, FESafe, Tosca. We also deal with CATIA and Delmia software of Dassault Systems. Platinum VAR signifies that our customers that we actually helped and interacted with were very happy with us. I mean, we not only meet the required revenue targets that are set by Dassault Systems, that's more of a kind of a number, but actually the main thing is that customers were very happy with us and they gave a good, strong and feedback such that we have a very strong relationship with them and also with Dassault Systems Simulia. Our main activities can be classified into four, basically engineering consultancy, training, sales and support, and automation and customization. I'll talk briefly about these four later in the presentation. So what you see in the picture on the top right is actually our Houston head office. Basically we have one floor in that building, and we have a team of about 20 people sitting there. So in the past experience, we have dealt with these customers regarding engineering consultancy, again related to FEA, CFD, and data analytics. You can see that it covers a wide range of industry, multiple industries, and also all over world in general. They are like an MNCs that have offices all over the world. So in case if you have any specific needs for your work flow, we would be happy to take it up. So do contact us if you need any kind of engineering consultancy services. And as you can see, some of these well-known MNCs are there who have who have been satisfied with our work, and they keep coming back to us again and again for repeated services request. We also provide software training and sales. So these are some of our customers in that area. Specifically, I want to mention Boeing. We are an exclusive Abaqus trainer actually for Boeing in North America. So most of the Abaqus courses that Boeing engineers need to be trained are dealt by us. So we have a very strong background in training engineers to pick up software skills. So if in case you need any particular skill enhancement in your employees, or any particular workflow that you would be interested to have some detailed discussion, we can provide that specific training also. So please do contact us for that too. Regarding specific technical capabilities with regard to simulation, we take up various kinds of simulations, such as first one is like a component design. At your design stage, if you need to have some kind of simulation, we can help you with that. We can develop the model, run the analysis, present the results based on what your requirement would be. We also can do FEA-based fracture or damage mechanics or engineering critical assessment analysis too. Again, it could be for in-service components too. So adhering to standard codes like API and other things, we definitely can provide that kind of service also. We can also provide design optimization using the mostly like EyeSight and Tosca software of Dassault Systems Simulia. We can also take up structure analysis for vibration assessment, etc. Using Dassault Systems product CST, which is an electromagnetic electromagnetic system software. We can take that up and we can help you with the design and simulation needs even in that area also. We also have a very good team in CFD. So if you have any particular simulation requirements and regard to fluid flow and analysis and thermal analysis, we can take that up also. And also, of course, the interaction between fluid and structure is included along with that. We can also take up fatigue analysis, both strain-based and stress-based for different temperatures. Also, we have good expertise in composite modeling and analysis. And we can also take up some specific simulation automation and customization that may be required for your workflows, which will be part of your today's webinar actually. And then we can also do some digital mock-up development systems engineering also for you. With that, we have a value proposition for you. We take our customers' needs and requirements very seriously and try to see that their success is actually reflected in our success too. So through our technical excellence and innovation, we always try to achieve that. We also have a very good knowledge in FEA and CFD, which I mentioned earlier, and spanning multiple industries. So we can also help you with that. If you have any specific needs for FEA simulation that needs to be done for your workflows or to enhance your skills of your employees, we can definitely help in that endeavor too. If you are already having some kind of simulation being done in your workflows or process, we can help you with enhancing the speed and usability of it. So that would also be a very good step for increasing productivity at your end. We also provide customized and standard trainings. So both the Dassault standard training, which I already mentioned, we actually deliver at Boeing. We also, and other customers, of course, we can do that at your in your office, or you can do it online too. And we can also customize it based on your specific workflow requirements, or also based on what specific enhancement of skills that your employees may need. Based on that, we can also fine tune the trainings. So we can do some customized ones also if you need to. We also offer software development services for Abaqus, specifically developing scripts, Python scripts, which is again focus of this webinar, and also user subroutines and other features like user elements, both for your pre and post processing feature processes. We can do that. With that, I will hand over to Subhadeep Maiti. Subhadeep, please take over.
Okay, I'll first. Thank you, Shrikant.
Yep.
Okay. Just a reminder, please be sure to type your questions into the question box in your control panel. Don't worry, we'll be answering all your questions at the end of our presentation. Okay, now we will go ahead to our next presenter, Shubhadeep Maiti. Shubhadeep Maiti is Senior Simulation Engineer at VIAS with over 6 years of industrial experience in consultancy, customer support, product, and process simulation for a wide range of diverse industries. Shubhadeep has done his master's in mechanical system design from IIT Kharagpur. He has worked with R&D division of multiple OEMs. Prior to VIAS, he was with Dassault for almost 3 years. There he was involved in pre-sales, post-sales, customer training and support, etc. He is having expertization in linear, non-linear problems with focus in contact and convergence related issues. Advanced explicit methodologies like CEL, SPH, NVH analysis and testing, parametric, non-parametric optimization and automation through eyesight and Tosca, fracture mechanics and fatigue calculation, etc. Okay, Shubhadeep, over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Susmita, for a nice introduction. Good morning, you all, my dear simulation aspirant. It is nice to have you all in this particular webinar. So, the topic of the webinar is basically enhance and accelerate your team's productivity to Abaqus scripting. So, we are talking about your team's productivity. So that means it is not a standalone. So once you customize your application, so you can distribute to your team and they can take the advantage of the customized benefit, customized solution. So when you are doing a Python scripting, what is the motivation? Why should you do a Python scripting? So it's basically the first thing come into mind that you need to automate the repetitive task, be it a model building, or you want to submit a job automatically and monitor it, or you want to do a custom post processing, or you want to prescribe a default behavior of Abaqus. In either of the cases, you can introduce Python scripting to make it in an automative way. If you want to extend the functionality of your existing Abaqus functionalities, then also you can introduce Abaqus scripting, and you can definitely enhance your graphical and non-graphical interface through Abaqus scripting. So it provides basically a customized environment for experience analysis, and definitely once you develop that particular automation, it will be very much useful for a non-FE users as well. So the Python is basically introduced in 1991 by Guido van Rossum, a Dutch computer programmer. This training will focus on using Python as a scripting language. But we are all aware that Python is very powerful and it can be used as in many cases. The main point here is that it is not as strict, thus it's easy to use, highly extensible, and we shall show it in later on. And also it is free to use in Windows environment, and its memory management is automatically taken care. So you can introduce the Python in different phases as I told you before, and definitely you can introduce the Python scripting in the post processing to access the ODB, to calculate a custom output, or to automate the report preparation. So when we talk about a scripting language, so what is the basic difference between a scripting language and a programming language? So a programming language is more close to the machine level language. So once you are having a programming language, you need to compile it. And once you compile it, you can quickly run the compiled program in the different environment. And whereas scripting language is very high level language. And as you can see in the graph, if you see the TCL and Perl, so they are not too distance from the Visual Basic. And also, if you see that C and C++ and Java, they are not as strict. Sorry, they are very strict compared to the TCL, Perl, and the Python. So here the definition degree of typing is defined as is basically that how advanced it is to use actually. So once you are using a scripting language, it's make it easy to use, and the programmer does not need to worry about the declaring variables and so forth. And also the scripting language is weakly typed and the programming language is strongly typed. But if you see that maximum of the games or the programs, they are basically written in the programming language because they are having a rapid runtime. Whereas the scripting language is basically introduced in the automation part because it helps to have a rapid development. And the example are Python, TCL, Perl, and these are all scripting language. Whereas the C, C++, and Fortran, these are basically the programming language. Now we'll discuss about the Python inside Abaqus. So how you can introduce Python inside Abaqus. So from Abaqus CI, you are having something called command line interface in the bottom red circle you can see. So there you can directly give your Python command, or if you want to access the Python in Abaqus CI through command prompt, then you can issue the command like uh, Abaqus Python, or so Abaqus Python will automatically start the Python plus Abaqus from the command line interface itself. If you have developed a script, you can directly run the script through the file and run script menu. And also when you are starting your Abaqus CI, in the startup page, there will be option of run script. And if you're having a script in the command line interface, you can directly execute the Python file by using the exec file command. So these are some of the example, like Abaqus CA will start up with a Python script. So the CA will start with a Python script and it will run automatically. And similarly, you can access the Python script in the VR module as well. You should not bypass the Abaqus. You should not bypass the Python through Abaqus CA kernel like this. Like you can write like Abaqus Python myscript.py. It is not a recommended option. So now we'll discuss about the basics of Python. So if you see in the first three, you see in the first three, 1 to 3. So in the GUI, in the command line interface, and through scripting language, you can introduce the Abaqus scripting. So once you are basically using scripting, it's basically gives some command to the Python interpreter, and that particular commands will be automatically written in the replay files, and at the same time, it will be directly bypassed to the Abaqus CE kernel, and then you can create an input file and you can run the input file and you can get your ODB. And in the ODB, once again, you can invoke the Python script to the GUI to access custom output or report preparations. So these are some of the basics of the Python syntax. Like it's basically, if you're having a comment, it's basically start with a hash sign. And if you are having two statements in one line, you can delimit them by using a semicolon, and blank lines are not having any meaning, they will be directly ignored. And indentation is a very important thing in Python scripting. So while you are using different loops, make sure your indentation are in the same level. And if you are having a block, or if you're having a loop where you don't want to have a statement, you can bypass the statement by using the pass command. If you are having a big line and if you want to uh, define some part of the line in the next line, then you can use a backslash. So in Abaqus, it's basically work based on the object model. So it's basically extend the functionality to the Python scripting to the new types of object. The hierarchy and the relationship between these objects are basically called the Abaqus object model. And this Abaqus object model diagram you can directly access to the Abaqus documentation itself. Like here is a command you can see. I am defining a variable called cell, and the model database is like mdb.model. So this is the model name cantilever, and this is the part name cantilever beam, and the cell index is 1. So this is how you basically access a particular cell inside Abaqus CA by using the Python scripting. So here you can basically identify the constructor and repository. So here the MDB model is basically the constructor and part is basically the repository. And there is a ready-made Abaqus object model diagram, a PDF file, and a PDF file is directly accessible. There you can quickly access the relationship between the different objects. So basically, if you see, if you are having a black arrow with a line indicator, then it's basically, if you see here, there is something called job. So job is an abstract type for the model job. And if you see a brown cycle and line indicator, then the job have a sequence of message objects like this one. And if you see a black circle and line indicate, then MDB is having basically a model object of model. Now we'll go into the core, like how you can build a plugins. So what are the different way to build a plugins? So the first thing is that you can, when you are doing some operation inside the Abaqus CA, you can use the macro manager, and you can start the macro manager, and whatever the operations you are doing inside the Abaqus CA, those all things will be written inside the macro. And later on you can stop the macro manager and you can access the background Python file and reuse it for your repetitive task. And the second thing is to the Abaqus replay file. So whenever you are creating a CA model inside Abaqus CA, it's basically by default create a replay file in the background. So you can take that replay file and you can edit it as per your requirement, and you can create your own script. So this is a simple replay file example. Like if you go to the Abaqus CAE and open a model, and if you just go to the view and specify view, and there you specify angle of rotation. So in the replay file, you can see there will be a command written like this. So this command you can directly take from the replay file, and you can cut and paste into a new text file. And in the text file, you can run a loop, like for x in range of 36, we can put this one. So it will be automatically rotating with the x angle of 10 degree. So this particular Python file, you can save it and you can run it whenever it's required. And the third thing is basically developing your Python scripting through Abaqus Python development environment, which is called the Abaqus PD. So the graphical user interface looks like this, which is by default available in the Abaqus CE itself. So it's a separate application, but it does not require any license or anything like that. It's just a extended functionality of Abaqus CA. You can directly access the PD environment inside Abaqus, or you can access to command line in a standalone mode. So whenever you are doing some operation in the GUI or in the kernel, in either cases, all the Python background Python command you can see inside the PD development, and you can directly use that particular Python script and debug it for creating your custom script or plugin. And I'll give a demo on this one. So it's basically allow you to create a demo script with breakpoints. And when you are creating a Abaqus CA model, by default in the background, there will be a GUI log script. That one you can directly open inside as well in the PD environment. Also, if you are going to a Python script running in the Abaqus CE kernel or GUI, you can go through one by one line to the Abaqus PD. And you can definitely debug your Python script outside the Abaqus CE with a standalone PDE mode.
Shubhadeep, I need to interrupt a bit. Attendees, please be sure to type your question into the question box in your control panel. We will be answering all your questions at the end of our presentations. Okay, Shubhadeep, you can
Oh,
continue.
thank you. So here is an example that how you can automatically submit a job through a command prompt uh, with multiple different input file. So it's basically say that we are using a import OS command because we are basically using a command line interface or CMD mode. So there we are basically define what are the jobs. So these are basically three different input file. So if you are using something like Windows OS, so you can give a path of the your Abaqus CE bash file. Okay, and then you can run the job one by one through a loop. So this particular small script can be used to submit multiple jobs one by one in sequential mode through batch mode. And if you want to submit the job to Abaqus CA itself, so then also you can write a similar kind of script, and you can submit this particular script inside the command line interface in Abaqus CA. So it is also in the similar way, but here you are basically instead of using an input file, you are basically giving the different job files or the input files name. So once you are submitting, you will be basically waiting for the completion, and once it's getting completed, then the next job will be submitted. So now I'll be discussing about the output database object model. So when you are creating a ODB file, it is having basically two different kind of data. One is basically the field data, what you can plot, which is basically contour plot. You can do a contour plot of the field data, and history data, which one is basically a XY curve. It's basically a graph, right? So in the ODB there are basically two different kind of objects available, like the field data and the history data. So you can directly access the ODB objects inside or outside of the Abaqus viewer or Abaqus CA by using the Python scripting. So the simplest way to customize Abaqus is basically you develop a kernel script, you perform your modeling and the post-processing tasks, and you can directly exit once you have done all those things. So here is a simple example. So this is basically a simple script. The main purpose of this script is that it's basically first plot the undeformed shape of a ODB. It directly pick the ODB first, it then plot the undeformed shape, and then it's plot the deformed shape, and then it's plot the contour plot of the von Mises stress, and it's print the contour plot of the von Mises stress into a PostScript file or PS file, and then it's directly execute the Abaqus viewer. So you just run the script inside a CMD or command prompt, and it will do the everything automatically, and you will end up getting a PostScript file in the same working directory. And the similar thing is like this is another one script, so which is basically a post processing script. It's basically directly invoked in the Abaqus viewer. So it's basically directly create a viewport, and it's open a ODB file in the viewport. It's display a contour plot, and then it's directly display the model in the first frame of the third step, and it's directly set the contour interval and the contour limits, and print the color image of the viewport to a PNG file in the same directory. Now, when you are talking about the plugins, so there are basically two different kind of plugins. So one is basically the kernel plugins. So the example we are seeing is basically a point-to-point connectors. And there is another plugin which is called a GUI plugin. So it is basically a plugin of adjustable rigid torus, or shortly called ART. So it's basically enables you to define and visualize an adjustable rigid surface in the shape of either a torus or a cylinder. So you can develop either of the plugin, and they are having different kind of applications. So in Dassault, this is client care. So there is a knowledge base article where you can get all the plugin lists in one page itself, and you can directly download those plugins and you can use it for your automation task. Also, Python script can be used in the Abaqus environment file. So if you want to customize your Abaqus CE session, you can invoke your Python's scripting language inside the environment file. So this is an example. If you can see here, so I am having a particular Python file which is called my material underscore library dot py file. So in this library we have defined a particular material. So if you are invoking this command inside the Abaqus Python, inside the Abaqus environment file, then once you open the Abaqus, by default the material will be created. A default material will be created. Now we'll be talking about the RSG Builder. So RSG stand for really simple GUI. So in Abaqus CA, in the plugins menu, if you go through Abaqus and RSG dialog builder, you can get access to the RSG dialog box. So it's basically helps you to create a GUI interface for a particular script. So like this is a simple example, like a plate with a hole, which is by default available with the Abaqus installation itself. So here you can just give a name of the parameters or and then you can give a width, height, and radius of different thing whatever is shown in the picture. And once you say it okay, it will end up building the model automatically. And also in the RSG dialog box, once you are going to the getting started, you'll be getting a ready-made example of similar kind of automatically so you can automatically create different model by using the getting started. So which is created once again through using the RSG dialog. Now, the main step when you are creating a GUI based plugin. Okay, so in that case, the first thing is that you basically create a Abaqus CA model and you save the model. So once you save it, all the commands, whatever you have executed in the Abaqus CA, they will be saved in the replay file. Then what you can do is that you can copy the replay file and then you can edit it, and then you can directly open the RSG Builder. In the RSG Builder dialog box, you can create your custom GUI. And after creating your custom GUI, you can link your Python file within the RSG plugin, and then you can save the plugin and copy in the same folder of the Abaqus plugin folder, which is the from where basically all the script or all the plugins are stored. Now, if you open your Abaqus, you should see the plugin. So I will show you a very quick demo of the thing. So let me take you through that one. So like say I am basically first. So the first thing is that you are basically setting a working directory. So this is my working directory. Now once I create a part, so I'm just putting some fillet over here. Like this is a simple tensile specimen, I can say. And I can just extrude it for 5 millimeter like that. I can define a material property. Now I'm defining a section. I'm assigning the section to this one. Now I'm creating an assembly of the same part. Now I'm defining a static analysis strip, and I'm defining a boundary condition of symmetry in this phase. I'm defining a pin boundary condition here, and I'm prescribing a displacement in the other side of the part. And I'm creating a job. So once I save this one, so a Python file will be created automatically. a replay file will be created automatically. So this is the replay file you can see here. So what I need to do is that I basically remove all the parts up to execute on CA startup. I can just define a function like say, and I can say the define the variable like say length, width, and say payload. And I'll be basically importing the modules here. And now you see here, I basically need to connect this length, width, and the payload to these certain parameters. So when we are defining the rectangle, you see here, these are the points we are defining. So here I can directly specify length and width, L, comma, W. And for the load, we have defined in the load module, I mean to say the displacement directly. So, so here I have defined the displacement here, BC3, and here I have defined the displacement like U1 is equal to this one. So once I have defined this one, I can quickly go and select this point and I can indent that one. And this is done for the scripting part. Now I'll save this one and I'll copy this one to a new name, and the extension will be py file. Okay. Now I'll go to the plugins, then Abaqus, then RSG dialog builder. So this is basically a uniaxial tensile test specimen. And here I can include this one and you can see how it looks like when you are building. So I can include a different inputs. So this is basically like say length, and this is a float, and the corresponding keyword is L, and I can say the default value is something like 90. Then I can define the width. This is also another one float, and this is like 35, and this one is something like, I'll say it's a displacement load, and this is also a float, and the corresponding keyword is payload, and I can give it a value like 10. So once I have done this one, I can go to this one and I can just switch up the show dialog in test mode. And okay, so before that, what I need to do is I need to go to the kernel, and there I need to connect this particular GUI to the corresponding Python file. So what I need to do is that I'll be picking this chase to PY, and you can see this is how it looks like, and inside that this is the function how it looks like, and I can add a icon as well if you want, like the icon could be something like, I can just pick some picture here. Okay, so once this is done, so you can save this one. You can save this one with a directory like inside the working directory. I'll say it in current directory. Just give some just one menu button like UT. So once you say this one, it will be saved inside the working directory. Now I can easily close this one. So you can see that inside that one there is a particular plugin written like UT, or sorry, test one is written. So inside that you can see the corresponding plugins is there. So now once you're having this plugin, you can directly copy this plugin in the Abaqus plugin folder. And you can paste it here. Once you are pasting and restarting your Abaqus, you will be able to see, sorry, you will be able to see your corresponding plugin here in the plugins unit test. And this is how it is look like. And you can give a part name and this one. And once you say it, okay. Oh, sorry, this one is something like. So, so once you give these values, okay, and it will be directly creating the whole model itself inside. It is something like the part issues there. Okay, so we can check this one, but this is a similar way how we can do that one. So basically, I can give it a name like part one. Okay, so so this is the way how you basically build plugins. So it's basically I have given additional name like part one. This is not connected here. That's why it is creating some issue. Like if when you are using a part name as well, p name, so that one also you have to include in every location. Like if you are using part one, so wherever the instance is happening, this one you need to replace by using the p name. Then it will work. Okay, so this is a simple demo what I have shown you in the RSG dialog builder. I'll not spend too much time on just debugging this one, but it's as simple as that. You basically create a replay file, you edit the replay file, and after editing the replay file, you can create your custom script, and then you can use the RSG builder to create your custom GUI, and you can connect the GUI to the particular script and create a customized script where you can directly take the input on the fly itself. Now I will discuss about the Abaqus Python development environment. So you can basically start the Abaqus Python development environment from Abaqus CA. Like if you go to the file and Abaqus PD, you'll able to open this kind of window. Also, if you are in the Windows command mode, so in the command prompt you can specify like Abaqus PD. It will only open the PD. It will not open with the CA. But if you want to open it CA and PD with the command mode option, you can use Abaqus CA hyphen PD. So in that case, C and PD both will be open in the same time. And also you can access the command line interface in the GUI of the PD. So the similar command line interface is directly available inside the Abaqus CE as well. So when you are developing a GUI log script, So there you can specify in between your own command as well. Like here we are developing a script. In between we have developed like from Abaqus GUI import, and I'm defining a main window, and I'm specifying that test hello world. So it will directly show a dialog box like test hello world. Now in Abaqus PD, how you basically go to a kernel script. So you basically go to the main file and you basically select your script, and then you can go to the next line one by one by pressing the next button, and then you can go to the different function by using the F11, and at the same time you can switch to the debugger mode, and you can go to a different line when you're debugging the script itself. So inside Abaqus PD, once you are opening with the Abaqus CA, it will be directly showing that it is connected to the CA, and you can create your new script. It will be opening a blank window, and then once you press the start button, then whatever the options or whatever the clicks you are doing inside the Abaqus CA, those all things will be written in the new script here, and then you can directly play with the different line, and you can play with the different animation. You can use a different right mouse button, okay, and you can give your breakpoint by inserting the breakpoint at different location as well. So basically in Abaqus PD, what you can do is that you can record your Abaqus CA command, and there is a script automatically generated which is gui.log. So you can open that log file inside the Abaqus CA PD environment, and you can set your breakpoint, and you can play one by one command of the script inside the Abaqus PD development, and the debugger can be used for the kernel script as well. And when you are recording, action can be inserted inside by using the existing GUI log script. And definitely the last option or last command can be undo or redo by using the Control Y and Control Z commands. So the usability is that when you are editing Python code, so you can indent or unindent according to your Python rules. And if you want to introduce a new line and tab, then so you can basically introduce a new line and tab. So if you want to introduce, if you are introducing tab, it's basically indent the previous line, or you can unindent by using the shift tab. And here basically you can switch on the color of the syntax highlighting as well. So now we have seen that you can basically develop your script by using the PD environment, by using the replay file, by using the macro manager. So once you are developing your script, you can integrate that one in the RSG Builder. Also, you can develop your vertical application. So a vertical application is basically a extended software functionality, okay, which basically is a specific requirement in order to achieve a specific function or process that are unique to the user. So it is having a benefit like you can include your standard regulations, or you can use a unified or simplified step-by-step procedure of your custom workflow. You can increase your productivity and performance, and you can quickly use it. Like if there is a non FEA user, he can also go to the vertical application and quickly create a custom output for a particular problem. It is scalable and you can share with anyone. Now we'll go through the Abaqus parametric study. So another advantage of the Abaqus scripting is that you can create your parametric study file, PSF file. So inside Abaqus itself, by creating a PSF file, you can do a parametric study. So the basic step in the parametric study is that you basically edit your input file and you basically define the parameters. Once you are having an input file, in the first few line you define the star parameter and define the parameters, and then you create a new text file and rename it to a PSF file, and you define the main function. Then you basically define what are the parameters and what are the parameter values. And once you are having the parameter values, you can combine the parameter values, and then you can define a constant. So this is an optional option, like you can say that this particular parameter combination is not possible if there is certain parameter which is violating a certain rule. Okay, and once you are having a parameter gather all together, you basically create a set of design, and that particular set of design you can create for creating a new job. And once you are having a new job, you can submit the job one by one to create a multiple input file and execute the file one by one. So once you are having all the ODBs, you can get the custom output of different ODB, and you can report that result in a plot or in a different mode. So this is a simple example. Like this is on two particular small plate. They are basically connected by bolt. And the first step is basically you are applying a bolt load. In the second step, you are applying a tensile load in the other end. So here the parameters are basically the material property of the plates, like the E value, and the bolt load, how much you are applying the bolt load in the bolt plate tension, and the third parameters is basically the pressure or the tensile load which is applied in the other end. So once you are having a input file, you basically define this parameter in the very first, and wherever these values are there, you basically use, instead of these values, these particular parameters in the input file. Like when you are defining a star material, like star elastic, there, instead of using 70 e to the power 3 for E, you can directly use E as a value there. So as you have defined a parameter before, and it will directly pick the value of the E. And this is the similar example of the same study. So here basically you can see that I am creating a parametric study file. It is very straightforward and simple. So if you go to the Abaqus documentation, you can get a lots of example on this one. So the function name is basically the base study. Okay, and this is basically parametric study, and the parameters are E, bolt load, and P load. Here basically I am defining the parametric study function first, and then I am defining for each of the parameter what are the values. Okay, so for each parameter I am having three different values. So I am having three parameters, so there is total 27 number of combination is possible. Now once you are having the parameters, you will sample the parameters between the interval. Like, so if you are specifying interval equal to 2, then it will be taking this value and this value, like 70 to the power 3, this one and this one. Instead of using 1, if you're using 2 here, so it will be taking this 2 value. So you can have a big table, and out of that you can use a particular interval to choose a particular samples. And once you are having the samples, then you can combine all the samples, and you can connect that samples to a particular input file by using a template like bold job. So this is basically my input file name. And then you submit or execute all the input files, and after that you basically do the post-processing stuff over here. So what I am doing is that basically for the step 1 from the ODB file, I am taking the displacement of the bolt point of the bolt pretension node. The displacement is basically U1, and then I am reporting the displacement versus the Young's modulus and the bolt load in a graphical way. And similar way for the second step, what I am doing is that I am taking the U displacement of the same node, and once again I am reporting the displacement with correspond to the E and P load in a text file or in a printed format like that. So this actually brings me to almost the end of the topic. So when you are working with the Abaqus Python environment or Abaqus Python script, so basically to create a very clear script, you always follow the Abaqus Python guideline, so which is located at this one, python.org. So there you can get a very good guideline about the syntax and how you can create a very clean and clear script. And the second thing is that whenever you are using a big name, like I'm having a path like this one, so you always try to abbreviate the big name with a particular word. Okay, so like I am defining that ODB is basically located at this position, then I can use this particular option to access in different position instead of using the big names. So it should not be actually going above 25 characters, the path or the names. And uh, and always try to make sure that whenever you are using some command, you are using some kind of white space. So it's basically helps you to debug the problem and see the script in a very clear way. And at the beginning of the command prompt, sorry, at the beginning of the replay file, you try to issue this command, which is basically session journal options, set value, replace geometry coordinate, and recover geometry coordinate. So it's basically helps you to create a very clean script when you are going to the Abaqus RPI file. So typically, if you don't issue this command, so whenever you are selecting a particular edges or faces inside the Abaqus CA, it's basically create a masking of that one. So instead of that one, if you're issuing this command, you will get a direct location of that particular edges. So later on, if you want to edit the script, it will be very much easy to clean the script. And there are very good QA article available in the Abaqus, sorry, in the Simulio DSS client here. The one thing is that QA article 8828, so which basically gives you all the Abaqus object model diagram. And there is another one key article QA2874. It's basically give you that if you are working with the Python ODB, Abaqus Python environment interface, then how we can work with that one with the different field data. And definitely in the similar learning community, you are having a huge resource on the Abaqus customization. So you can go through the customization training or the customization resources, and you can get a tons of data on this one. And this basically brings me to the end of this webinar. So now if you're having any questions, you can directly ask us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shubhadeep. Now we will go ahead and take some time for questions now. It looks like we have a few questions. Okay, I'm reading out the questions. Shrikant and Shubhadeep, you people can hear me, right? Uh, okay, first question is, do you provide corporate training at client office location?
Sri, are you there?
Yes, yeah, we do. So we can definitely come to your client, your office, and definitely provide training, which is what we have done in US, and we will do that in India too. So definitely do get in touch with us, and we can arrange for a training at your office.
Okay, do you provide support with developing automation scripts as a consulting support?
Yes, that goes part with it. We definitely provide support and training also in how to, if you need specifically how to develop the scripts or you, we can handle you for some time and maybe then you can take over once you gain some confidence and expertise. So, do you want to add something to that?
No, not as such. I think, yeah. So if you're having a specific requirement for any customization, we can definitely help you in that regard. And we are providing support in that areas as well.
Okay, can we create a customized menu in Abacus Viewer? And what are the different ways to create buttons in Abacus Viewer for invoking macros?
Yeah, so one thing I have shown you is the RSG dialog box. So where basically you can create your own custom buttons or your vertical application to the RSG dialog box. So that is one good way to do that one.
Okay, how could we export the data to Excel from Abacus Python? Which modules need to be used for exporting the analysis data to Excel?
Okay, so in Abaqus itself, you can see there is Excel utilities available. So which basically do it in the opposite way. Like if you are having a result, you can directly report in the Excel format. And in similar way, you can also get the input file and you can drive your CAE modeling through a Excel file. So you can give your input in the Excel and you can directly make a connection between the Excel and Abaqus CA to the scripting, and that can directly read and do the data transfer in the Abaqus CA to read the input parameters and create your custom model. So definitely that can be done. So I do have an example. If you want, I can share with you after this webinar.
Okay, can I use scripting to read data from Excel and make a model in Abacus?
Yeah, definitely you can do that. I think I've already answered that one.
Okay, do you offer scripting training online?
Yes, we do offer scripting training online. So if you're having a specific kind of application, and if you want to learn about that one, definitely we can help you in that regard. And yes, we do provide the training in online as well.
Okay, are you planning to do more webinars?
Yeah,
Yes.
so this is just the start for India. So definitely we'll be having lot many webinar coming in the next months.
Okay. Can RSG take variables values from an Excel sheet?
Yes, it can take the variable values from a Excel sheet as well. So basically in the scripting, you are basically telling in the Python script itself that from where the data has to be taken. So you can directly take the data from a Excel sheet and directly copy that onto the RSG builder. So RSG builder is basically a GUI builder. Okay, and basically you use your script to connect to the GUI to the Python script. So in the script, you can directly get or access the Excel data as well. So there is nothing to do with this particular functionality. I mean to say, you can definitely do that one. It is very easy and straightforward.
Okay. Next question is, I would like to retrieve the Abaqus views which I saved while working on Abaqus Viewer. Please let me know how to use the replay file.
Okay, so there is two things. One thing is that when you are opening Abacus viewer, so you are having a particular contour plot or a particular viewport setting. So what you can do is that you can basically save your GUI state from Abacus file menu. So you can save display options. So once you are saving a display options, this will basically create a .gpr file. So if you are saving that GPR file inside the home directory, then each time you are opening Abacus viewer, it will automatically take the previous setting. But if you want to plot a customized output, so definitely you can take the help of the replay file and you can edit a little bit just to make sure that whenever you are opening different ODB file, the same kind of post processing is applied to the same ODB as well. So just by editing a little bit on the replay file, you can achieve the same thing, whatever you are looking for. Yeah.
Okay, there is next question. I am trying to write some node results to an empty ODB created from syntax check. All results are averaged at nodes. Is there any workaround to write element results which were averaged at nodes? Then he has mentioned, I don't have element label details.
Okay. Can you just read the questions once again?
Okay, I am trying to write some node results to an empty ODB created from
Mhm.
syntax check. All results are averaged at nodes. Is there any workaround to write element results which were averaged at nodes? Then he has mentioned, I don't have element label details.
Okay, so look, there is some option called ODB access. Okay, so by using the ODB API, you can achieve the same text, but at the same time, I want to say you that there is a custom plugin available. So that is basically written in C++ for a quick execution. Because if you're working with a big ODB, so Python will be creating a little bit. It will be taking a huge time. So by using that ODB API, so that particular small executable file, it is written in the CC++, so you can directly do the thing. So it is already been developed. So if you want, I can share the particular I mean to say the plugin, or you say the utility with you. So that is already developed, you can do that one.
Okay. Next question is, how can I access the QA articles mentioned in your slides?
Okay, so if you are already a Simulia user, in that case, you can directly call Simulia sales or the Simulia technical support team, and they will create a login for you. So once you are having a login, you can directly go to the knowledge base article, and there you can directly search and get the specific key articles. So but if you are not a Simulia user, then also you can register with the DSS client care with a normal access, and there also you are having access to lot many QA article. So if you are a customer, then definitely you are having a advanced level of access. But if you are a normal user without any similar license, then you'll be able to get maximum of the I mean to say the QA articles. So if you're not able to, you can contact us. We'll try to get that particular Q article to you.
Okay, is that Abacus environment file have all the parameters defined through Python language?
Yes, all the parameters are defined through Python language in the Abacus environment file, and that basically helps you to make sure that whenever you are opening Abaqus CA, every time a particular kind of setup is automatically applicable to that Abaqus CA. And once again, if you are working in some little bit advanced area, so if you are contacting us, we will be sharing some particular advanced Python command which you need to include in the Abaqus environment file, and then if you submit the job, it will run what you intended, what you are looking for actually. So definitely, yeah, maximum of the codes whatever you are seeing in the environment file, they are actually in the Python only.
Okay, next question is, can I call Fortran functions inside Abacus Python?
Yes, you can do that one. Yes, it can be done. So there is some utility called P2FY, and by using that one, you can call a particular Fortran function from Python itself, Python script itself.
Okay, and another question, Raju. Can we use external Python modules in Abacus Python?
Yes, you can use the external Python module in Abaqus Python as well. There is some third-party program called Anaconda, so which is basically a free license. So you can use Anaconda, which is a third party. So you can connect with the Abaqus Python and the Anaconda Python. Just make sure that you are not mixing their functionality or their objects altogether. So they should not having a mixed object. So it can be done with a third party Python program as well. Yeah.
Okay, we have one more question, like explain slide 25th again. So, like the answer to the question, we will having a recording of this. We can refer to that later, as we are running out of time anyways. Okay,
Mhm.
it looks like we have covered all our questions. Shubhadeep and Shri, is there anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap up?
No, nothing much. So thank you for attending, and yeah, definitely we will look forward to working with you. So whenever you have some requirements for simulation training, we would definitely like to step in and discuss with you if we can be of some help. Yeah, please go ahead.
Great, thank you everyone. We appreciate you being here. If you have any questions yet unanswered, you are always welcome to drop your queries to our mail ID info@viascorp.in. You can visit our company website as well. Okay, our recording of our presentation will be available shortly in our website and in all our social media pages where you can always come back and refer. Okay, thanks again for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.